Hey guys, welcome to Tour Truck Tuesday. It's an exciting Tuesday. This is an exciting episode, I gotta be honest, because I have my brand new P7MCs that are fitted with Projext IO, individually optimized for launch and spin, peak height, descent angle. This shaft has it all according to Projext. I must admit, I've had it now a few days, been hitting shots, can speak very highly of this. Platform based on the PXI, which is a bit lighter, so I've got the 115 gram version in a 6.5, but it also brings back the old flighted mentality. I have a TrackMan there, so I can tell that it should launch my long irons a bit higher and keep my shorter irons down into the wind. But when you get a new set, if you can do this, just to get to know your clubs, I advise it. Last week out on the tour, saw Colin Morakawa doing the same thing. He had a couple of TrackMan devices down there because one of the reps from TaylorMade wanted to have the data so they could look at the summary and talk to Colin about it. And then he had his own TrackMan monitor down there, hitting shots, looking at the flight, figuring out land angles. Again, that brings in the choice of golf ball. Try and do it with your golf ball. Look, if you have this facility or something similar, fantastic. But if you don't, then I press you one night. Take your 7-iron maybe from your previous set out, take your new 7-iron, go and play 5 or 6 holes at your golf club. You know the yardages, you know where you want to hit them to. Compare, get to know your clubs, because the quicker you get to know them, the sooner you'll benefit from what they can bring you. So I've got my old set here, which was AMT's X100s, which again is a shaft that the weight would change through the set. Now I've got 115 throughout, it would change, it would give you different flights. Did actually feel quite soft in the tip section for me, and it was in the 760 head. So if we look at the heads out of the gate straight away, the differences come, obviously, the first thing that jumps out is the width of the sole. This P7MC goes through the turf very easy, but you do need to be on your game and a good player in the sort of, I'd say 15 handicap and less range to really benefit from that, because by having that turf interaction, you can then shape the golf ball a little bit easier. If you're the sort of guy or girl that I'm talking to with that, check them out. Obviously they have a very soft feel. They feel a bit softer than my 760s that I did like, but they do feel a bit softer. And then when you look from the top down, it speaks for itself, a very sleek, thin top line. Most players who are into golf and really understand a history of golf clubs are going to go for that. That's going to appeal to them. But again, when I test them, I know that my previous set, the 7-iron, and I've shown it before on YouTube, but with my speed, and it's important that you understand that spin that you want to put on irons is dictated to by the speed that you deliver and also the type of player you are. But I would be looking for my 7-iron to come down with a descent angle fairly steep because I want to attack those flags, but I'd also want the spin rate to be up there. I'd take the sole number 7, multiply it by 1,000, so 7,000, then I'd add 500 for a straight shot. So that gives me 7,500 of spin, but that's with quite a decent speed, prominent player, looking for the ball to land softly. Now, if you don't have the speed, that's when you'd consider 790s, sim irons, things that are going to give you more launch, but they're also going to give you less spin. So if you go and see your experiential rep, and they put you into a 7-iron that's spinning more like 5,000, it's because you'll be launching it higher, and you'll be hitting it further because you've got the launch, because you don't have the speed, you need that. But for where I'm at today, this 7,500 number is where I want to be. In this bag also, I have a 48-degree mill grind 2 wedge that I had started warming up with, and I'll hit some for you now on camera. I'm going to put this back in. It's a mill grind 2. So obviously with the TrackMan you can separate the clubs. It's a great feature of it. I'm sure you can do it with most launch monitors these days. Put your alignment sticks down, set your target, treat it like a practice session where you have the alignment down there, but on the same note, try and get lost in the target. You've seen that I'm a big one for that. If you can become a player on the range as well, then that's going to benefit you. So just to put a marker in there with the pitching wedge, you know, we're not looking for anything major. This is a test session. I just want a marker out there. And I know that with my mill grind 2, 48, which is going to go up against the set wedge, that's 120. That's normalized, yards normalized. 10,500 spin, 10,470 is the exact number that's on here, because pitching wedge would be the number 10 iron, wouldn't it? So I'm comfortable with that. It was a slight fade. Then if I move in and I put in my pitching wedge MC, I now know, apples for apples, I've got a 50.8 degree land angle there off a little cut one. That's a TP5 because I've been testing golf balls. Make sure you use the same golf ball. That was a TP5X, this is a TP5. Set wedge. So I want to get some consistency. I'm keen to play this wedge. Scoring area, it's somewhere I've been looking at a lot. So again, get lost in the target, down these lines I've got down there. I like that. Wedges, it's important that you like the feel. It's important, like look in the windows. Good shot, 126, 52 degree land angle, 9,600, so it span a little bit less, but I'm okay with it. If we break it off and we look at it in a table, you can get a bit deeper in there. So you can look at, which I want to see if we can find it in here, peak height. And you can see it's 89.9 with that shot I've just hit. And if we go into the previous shot, 82. So there was a slight difference in peak height. Again, with these scoring golf clubs, I don't mind that. That's what I want to see. As long as the spin rate, which we know from that, it was down a little bit, as long as the spin rate is where you're comfortable having it. And that is something I would say about the previous clubs. Sometimes those AMTs did spin a fraction too much for me. So far, out the gate, the pitching wedge is a good starter. It's a good window. And again, you can hit until you feel comfortable. Honestly, I'd probably move on if it wasn't for the video purposes. But there's nothing wrong with putting another one in there. I like that. They're new clubs at the end of the day. You do want to hit them. You want to get a feel for them. That was a pretty solid hit. Look at the total first, 129, spin rate 9966. It's within 300 of the first shot, so I know it's roughly where I want it to be. Consistency in these golf clubs is what I'm looking for. And if you're doing this and you're on the golf course, pick some to get a feel for it. I'm going to move now into the 7 iron. So far, so good. Like everything I'm seeing. So again, come back, get a feel for your target, try and get lost in it, have your pre-shot routine if you've got one. I press you to have one if you don't. See the ball flight, think about whatever swing thought you have if you're going to go there. Be honest with yourself. Not a bad shot. I've got better in the tank for sure, so pull another ball. 170. It's a big 7 iron, a little low in the blade. Good shot there. That's a fair flight. Now watch it as well. I appreciate if you don't have the monitor, you want to watch it. It faded a bit, so it might have had a little bit of spin on it. 163, 8,200 spin with a 7 iron. It might be a little bit high. Land angle, 48. And they're the things I'm looking at. Height, 90.3 feet. Again, they're things that you want to look at. Give yourself a fair reading. Where did you hit it? How did you hit it? And give yourself a feel. Again, don't let the monitor dictate everything. You know I'm a big fan of that when you're out here practicing. Good shot there. Again, little fade. Wind is into off the left. Very acceptable. Look at it, 167. Now we've got some consistency. Then maybe go into one where you move a bit closer, push the handle up. If it's a shot you perhaps play, punch one down there. I want you to feel it as a player. It feels very stable. These are going to be scoring clubs, like I say. Peak height comes down 30 feet. We're at 66 now. 6,500 spin rate. That's what I'd want to see. But the feel is fantastic. The response is fantastic. The head going through the turf is exactly where I want it to be. Everything about that 7-iron is what I want. Now, because you've got it here, you might as well compare the old 7-iron. You might as well go apples for apples and see if you can match up those numbers. See if you can marry up where they are. See what the feeling difference is. Grab your old 7-iron, step in there, check you're using the correct golf ball. Again, get the 5 out. I press you to test both balls. I've been doing it today. Okay, so we know what we're looking for. And that is when you're really going to feel the difference. When you chop between one to the other, you're really going to feel the difference. Much quicker off the face in terms of feel. I know because it's not. Pulled it a little bit, it's gone 3 yards further than the other one, but you can get a feel for this day. Spin was down, tells it's a pull, but the feel is harder off the face for me. Again, I know I'm going up against that premium feel in the new club. Little bit, this one's turning into the breeze a bit because I feel that the tips are a bit softer on these. So everything I would want so far, the new clubs are doing it, very consistent with the previous shot. And again, do it on the golf course. I'm going to hit some 3-irons because at the end of the day, it's the toughest club to hit here, and I'm itching to try it on a monitor. It's something I want to see when I go through this process. Put it on a T-peg if you want to. You will drop the spin if you put it on a T-peg. Remember that. But it's all things as to how I would test. I would go pitching wedges. I've got a few wedges I wanted to try versus set wedge. Middle of the bag, where the irons pivot from the shorts to the long. 7-iron's a good place. Then I'd go long iron. And I'd give myself a bit more room here. It's tougher to use, but see if we can get a good one away and then compare apples for apples. Okay, good. Get lost in the target if you can. Happy with that. Good flight. Lovely strike. 233 total. 215 carry, these are normalized numbers. 3,700 on the spin. Crucial spin. Enough for a 3-iron. Land angle flat, but I would expect that. Then go, once you've hit it, once you're happy with it, which I definitely am, that was a solid hit, then compare the gamer. The old gamer, for me, I mean, I've decided, my mind's made, the new irons are in. Big fan of these golf shafts, big fan of these irons. Think everyone involved, great job. But again, I just want to know when I go onto a golf course, am I in the right place? I just want a number to compare against that. Not really sure if I can hit a 3-iron as good as that again, but they say never do a trick twice, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so go through the routine, pick your target, get lost in it if you can. You can see the back of this club, the flange, the sole is bigger. You can tell I hit a lot of these as a kid, as you would being from a coastal town in the UK. 3,800 spin, 226, 205, so it wasn't maybe hit as good, but land angle was close, didn't quite carry as far, but nothing wrong with that 3-iron. And that was maybe, when I looked down at them, an area I wanted to test. They're in the ballpark, the shaft is launching where I want it, the feel is where I want it. I've pleased a TrackMan. And that's where I would press you guys to go now. Once you've done this exercise, once you've checked your land angles, your peak height, your distances, in wind, if it's like this, bang it onto Normalise like I have. Go from there. Normalise takes everything out, puts you at sea level, gets the air and the temperature and the wind in the right direction. Try and do that. Your fitter should be able to go through that with you. But you can reveal anything that might be something that's an outlier in the set. I'm very happy. I'm looking forward to playing with them. I think the shafts are a great choice. I can't speak enough of them. I think the heads are beautiful, as I know a lot of you do who've seen this out on review, but that's how I would check my irons before I go and play. Would I go through the whole set if I wasn't recording? Potentially, yes, just to have numbers I could look at later. But it clears a tick point in the mind. It ticks a box, and once you've done that, you're ready to take the clubs to play. Enjoy it. the process, go through it if you can, and have fun with it. I know there's nothing like new irons, but when it comes to scoring, we all want to get better, and we all want to get better quickly. So the sooner you can get to know them, the better it is for your game. I hope this helped you. Try it out. I know this is what we do out on the tour, so you can only benefit from it. Capturing data is so important. It's so crucial for the benefit of your game. If you like what you're seeing, subscribe and follow. Leave me a comment below. I'll put more videos up, usually once a week, every Tour Truck Tuesday. But until next time, good luck, and I hope you're not disappointed. I know I am certainly looking forward to giving these bad boys a proper run out. Good luck.